in the field light, all day light, all night light, on the blue light, on fifth light, defense light, this wild light, house call light, in the sound light, in the sound light, in the sound light.
Just like any other NFL team, the Chicago Bears are consumed and covered in rumors and speculation. Rumors of them trading Justin Fields so they can get one of the new quarterbacks coming out of the draft or all that foolishness. But that will be the only time I'm making any kind of acknowledgement about that in this particular video. Because as I've stated before, the Rough House doesn't deal with rumors and he said, she said. Unless it's facts or my honest opinion, it ain't got nothing to do with me. So my gut tells me that the Chicago Bears are going to keep Justin Fields. And instead of just doing the whole rebuild around a new guy, they're going to keep the guy they got, and they're going to build around him. And it needs to start with his protection. Now, yes, I understand he needs weapons and all that good stuff, but as I've stated before, if you don't have protection, those toys don't really mean anything. Let's take a quick look at their division, the NFC North. They got the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers. Now, the Lions are a team that is showing some real promise in their future. They've put together a real nice, stingy defense that's just going to keep getting better. The Vikings aren't all the way there, but they're not far off either themselves. A few pieces here and there on the offensive line, on the offensive side of the ball, and a couple of pieces on defense, and they'll be just right where they need to be. And the Packers, well, I mean, it's the Packers. Regardless of what happens in Green Bay, Chicago's going to have to handle the business with them, especially since Aaron Rodgers has reminded them so many times that he owns them. Not to mention the entire history between these two teams, which I covered in the previous video, bad blood. And I mentioned the Bears division is because 6 wins for them come within that division. That determines playoff berths or playoff spots, positions, whatever. So if you're really trying to be contenders and trying to be a playoff contending team, you got to first handle your worst enemies, and that's the boys that are in your division. Now, Chicago has 8 picks in this year's upcoming draft. But some of those picks came from the Bears making big-time decisions. One of them being that big trade they did with the LA Chargers, sending Khalil Mack to them for a second-round pick in the 22 NFL draft this past season, and in 2023, a 6th-round pick. Then later on in the season, they would trade Robert Quinn to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 4th-round pick. Then finally, they would trade away Roquan Smith to the Baltimore Ravens for a 2nd and a 5th-round pick in this upcoming draft. Now, a lot of these moves had a lot of people scratching their heads as to why the Bears are doing that, but it's called a rebuild for a reason. They're making space money-wise, cap-wise, all that stuff. They're making space so that they can bring in the guys. It'll be cheaper for them to let those guys go and to bring in new blood in the draft that will help move this team in the right direction. Now, it's a slow process, but if it's done right, it doesn't take as long, and it's the smart thing to do. The NFL, as well as their division, is not getting any easier. So this new regime under GM Ryan Poles, they're doing what they need to do, which is taking advantage of their situation, turning it from a negative into a positive. Not only the members in that organization know exactly what they're going to do for draft day, but with them sitting at the number 1 spot, that is the golden opportunity to listen to all kinds of offers that I'm sure they're going to be getting. With them keeping Justin Fields, all these other teams that are in the top 5 or the top 10 of the draft need a quarterback. So take advantage of that. Now, they have the cap space, and it wouldn't surprise me if these guys make moves in free agency, especially this year with a lot of positions on their roster could be answered in that. One being the offensive line. That's a huge problem for them. So I could see them making a move at unrestricted free agent Orlando Brown Jr., Super Bowl champion. That could be a good addition to the offensive line, just to throw a name out there. Now, if they make the right moves, the Chicago Bears can be some serious contenders in these years to come. But as the old saying goes, the first step is always the hardest. So we're going to find out what the Bears are made of in this offseason. They're either going to make the wrong move and take a step back into being irrelevant, or they could take a step forward and get back to becoming the monsters of the Midway.